This is John Paul Wright. I'm coming to you from Tokyo, Japan, and I just found out today what Dark Fate really means. I could be wrong, but with what's going on today in Hollywood and all that, I think I'm right. Here we go. Let's think about it. So, I've got no problem with women being in movies, women being heroes, and women beating men. I've got multiple videos citing my favorite women throughout the decades. But I'm seeing a pattern of coincidence here, and the pattern is this. They take an existing franchise, which was traditionally led by men, and they swap them out for women, obviously called gender swapping. But not only that, the men happen to be gone. They're not playing important roles anymore. They can't be there. It seems too coincidental and predictable now. So the first example of this is obviously Ghostbusters 2016, where also they do a little bit of joking and putting down men. That's okay, but the problem is when you add it in the mix of what they're doing, it seems forced, it seems deliberate, it doesn't seem like a good movie. Then of course we have Star Wars. And guess what? I think the Jedi should have been a woman. Probability says that the next one coming up would be a woman. It's been a lot of men as Jedis. But why does Luke Skywalker have to be this weak hermit? He's on an island, he's doing some fishing, he can't get into the fight. Coincidentally, Luke is out of it, and someone else has to step up and take the forefront. So my problem isn't women necessarily, it's that these stories all have a pattern. Is that the original franchise from the past, which was led by a well-loved man character by everyone across the board, has to be now replaced by a woman, but not tastefully and respectfully, has to be where the man happened to die, something went wrong, he's gone. Something to that extent. And of course, recently we have Batwoman. And it's just a TV show, but it's a pretty major franchise. It's a pretty well-known storyline. And the thing is, she can't be awesome on her own right. She can't flaunt her skills as an actual military technician, things like that. It has to be that Batman isn't coming back. He's gone. Not that he was a hero and he can't do the job anymore. Maybe he got a permanent injury. Maybe he's even in a wheelchair. Or maybe he's there and he's too old and this is at that timeline, but he's still there, helping her, giving her advice, passing the baton. No, she's got to be there because he ain't coming back. Batman, again, coincidentally, is gone. The Ghostbusters, coincidentally, are gone. Luke Skywalker, coincidentally, isn't joining the battle. So what's going to happen with Terminator 6? Well, because of this pattern, got me thinking. Let's get into it. So we get this picture in Terminator Dark Fate, and yes, it happens to be all women. Okay, but where's John Connor? Why isn't he there? We've had this picture for months now, from the time I published this video. Whatever date you see this video, we've had this picture for like 6 months or something, really long time, and in all this time, there's no mention of John Connor. What happened? What's the Dark Fate? Well, it all comes down to a tweet, but I think this tweet happens to have a pretty good theory. I have a theory on why we don't see John Connor and why we see the T-800 still alive. I think in this timeline, the events of T2 ended badly, hence Dark Fate. The Terminator failed to protect John Connor and he dies, causing the T-800 to live out his days as a lonely Terminator. Sarah goes something, awoke, okay. Anyway, so right, it makes sense. So basically, we see Sarah, not John, and she's protecting the new savior of humanity, who is this new chick, and she goes to find Arnold, and it looks like he's in some, couldn't see it clearly, but it looked like he was kind of out in the woods or something. It didn't look like a city building or whatever. So she goes to find him, and he probably maybe tells her there John's dead or something like that. And I just think this theory is very possibly true, and it all makes sense with the way Hollywood's going today. Alright, recap real quick. Let's use the big ones as examples. Ghostbusters 2016. The original Ghostbusters, nowhere to be found. Well, Bill Murray falls out a window. I know it wasn't the actual Ghostbuster character, but come on, it was Bill Murray. And the men have to magically be gone. So it just kind of feels forced and slightly distasteful. I also hear they made fun of the secretary in that. Okay, let's even let that stuff slide. Then we have The Last Jedi, and granted, Luke does a few things, but really, he's not in the fight. He doesn't want to be in the fight. He's depressed. He's pretty much failed, And again, it's a coincidence. It's also a coincidence, right, that they couldn't have him in The Force Awakens doing anything important. He was originally there, but they took him out. Again, coincidence, coincidence. That's the word. So let's not forget about Star Wars real quick, that this was also a long-time beloved franchise. I'm all for it, and I'm all for a woman if the story doesn't coincidentally get rid of the men. Like we have in Batwoman here. It's only a TV show, but this is a major franchise. The Gotham legacy, the Batman legacy, the Wayne legacy, and they have to distastefully shove Batwoman in there. She has to say some stuff about, oh, the Batsuit's only perfect for a woman. Oh, don't let man take credit for woman's job. You know, this leads me to believe that we're going to see the same pattern in Terminator 6. What's probably going to happen is Sarah Connor is going to find out at some point, or already know, and tell the other characters at some point that John is dead. And she's going to be this depressed character, but she's going to have to push forward for the humanity and to save the new savior of humanity. People are going to say, well, now Sarah Connor is a deeper, better character, and now we could relate to her. Now she's human. Like they said the same thing about Luke, but Luke was always human. We always loved Luke for who he was, and that's why we loved him, because we could relate to him like he was human. But what about John? He's just gone. That's the sacrifice. Well, John, we don't need him. Let's call the thing Dark Fate, and let's move on with the franchise. Last chance for Hamilton and Schwarzenegger to get together, but let's not have John. Let's blow another last chance. Why the hell not? It's just movies, just Hollywood. What the hell? Who gives a shit? Let's just try this thing. That's what I think. Like I said, I could be wrong, but with this pattern, it's pretty easy to believe that this is where they're going to go, and it makes perfect sense with the name Dark Fate. Hence, the Dark Fate that would have happened if John died. Here we are. I thought this thing might have been decent. I thought, you know, I just saw it. I didn't think about Dark Fate so much. Now when I think about it, it kind of gets a little disheartening. What can I say? I'm done. Alright, if you agree with me, if you like what I'm saying, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do shoutouts, special thanks, things like that. Got a Patreon, Twitter account, all set up. I will see you next time.